How does open banking go from being an idea to being a product or service that a consumer like you and I can use? Well, there are really four levels: legislation, then standards, APIs, and then finally the products. Let's start with legislation. When a government creates legislation, it will generally outline high-level outcomes that it would like to see in the economy. So with open banking, that's generally the ability for new entrants to compete with banks and access banking data and access banking products and services. Now, sometimes this is known as read and write. Read being access the data that's there, and write being make changes to the account, like making a payment. Clearly, this is really important, but it makes it very hard for banks and financial institutions to know exactly what they should do, because legislation is generally technology neutral. That's where standards come in. Standards are where either part of the legislative process or regulators or market forces will define exactly what a bank should do to comply with the law. This may be as detailed as what data points need to be included, or what types of payments should be included and which should not be. Standards are critical, and there's a lot of debate on the exact nature of standards because it really defines the APIs and then the products that can be built underneath. Examples of standard setting agencies include OBIE in the UK, and we're waiting to see what comes out of the latest developments in the US, where it seems that they'll be moving towards a market-based standards organisation. Okay, let's jump onto APIs. APIs are effectively interfaces for systems to communicate to each other with standardised terms. I always think it's a little bit like a menu. When you go to a restaurant, you don't go into the kitchen and ask what they're cooking and make up a menu with them. No, instead, you are presented with a menu and you pick a choice. It's a little bit like that with an API. One system asks another system for a very specific functionality to be enabled, and the other system responds. Very, very simple. And APIs generally deliver high uptime, they're easy to integrate, and if done well, can really power great products. So banks use the standards and they develop APIs that make it really easy for the ecosystem to integrate. And then we have products. Products is the really interesting part. I look at bank APIs as providing the foundational infrastructure. You can access this financial data or you can make a payment. And it's really for the industry, for fintechs to say, making a payment in that way, well, if we change this or add this other technology to it, we can make it work really well for an automotive business, or we can make this work really well in retail. Similarly with the data, a set of financial transactions could be used equally well to create a budgeting app as it can be to underwrite a loan going forward. So personally, the products bit is where this gets really exciting and really tangible. Let's just recap that. Open banking goes from idea to reality through four main stages: legislation, standards, APIs, and then finally products. Thank you very much for listening. My name's Kieran O'Malley.